President Biden today in Warsaw, Poland. He's meeting with Poland's president. It comes after the commander-in-chief's NATO news conference, where he took a brief moment to say this about the 2024 presidential election. Take a listen.
We're a long way off in elections, a long way off. My focus, if any election, is on making sure that we retain the House and the United States Senate so that I have the room to continue to do the things that I've been able to do in terms of grow the economy. The next election, I'd be very fortunate if I had that same man running against me.
All right, we'll bring the panelists back in. Jennifer Nassar, Tom Borelli, Donna Jackson. I'll start actually with Tom on this one. Domestic politics making the trip as well.
Sean, what an embarrassment. President Biden is supposed to be rallying NATO against Putin. And what does he do? He engages in domestic politics and he starts trashing former President Trump on a national stage. Wrong message, wrong time. What it does tell you is that Biden is so afraid of Trump. Trump lives rent-free in his head that he had to go down that road. It is a total embarrassment. That's why Biden is a weak leader. He knows President Trump would kill him in the next election politically. Could you imagine the debate stage with Hunter Biden's laptop, the southern border open with hundreds of thousands coming across, the chaos in Europe, all because of Biden's weak leadership? Biden is a joke. He knows it, and he's an embarrassment.
Jennifer, what did you think about that coming up during the press conference?
Well, to go off what Tom was just saying, I think that the president is completely tone deaf, number one. Number two, here's the one thing that I'd like to point out to all voters, whether you're Republican, Democrat, or you're an independent, is this. When the president of the United States states that he would be incredibly fortunate to have someone run against him, I would challenge that president to ask him why it's not us, the voters, who should be the fortunate ones to have the right person who is in office as the commander-in-chief, as the person leading us. Because right now we are leading from behind. Our economy is in the tank. Families are being hurt. And we see what's going on overseas, which should scare the daylights out of everyone.
To some of your points, if President Biden and Donald Trump were to face off, Emerson College poll actually put this out, and it asks if the 2024 elections were held today, which candidate would you pick? 45% pick Trump, 42% pick Biden. Donna Jackson, your response.
Well, I can't speak to candidates, but I will say this. There's a saying that as California goes, so does the rest of the country. I'm going to say that I'm seeing a mass exodus of African Americans, liberals who have always aligned themselves with liberal policies, that are exiting the liberal and progressive wing and are moving and aligning themselves with conservative groups. So there is going to be a huge shift because minorities and African Americans that were deeply entrenched, even with the civil rights movement, are now moving closer to conservative groups, and they're reaching out on mass scales. I get called every day. I think you're going to see a shift.
AOC actually mentioned the same thing when speaking to a reporter in New York about that very topic. Should Biden be concerned? She says he should when it comes to voters. Jennifer Nassar, Tom Borelli, Donna Jackson joining us today. Thank you very much.